Hey everybody, Dr. Pancake Face here. Now, I've had a couple of people ask me here recently for a little bit of assistance getting their Oculus Rift DK2 to work. Now, I have one. I've had one for a while, bought it used. Got mine to work, done some videos with it, played games with it, stuff like that. But I am, not exactly an expert with the thing. I've got mine to work. Took me about a week. Fooling around after I got off work. And in fact, for about a day or two, if I recall correctly, there was a time that I basically went, screw this damn thing. It is too frustrating. I'm done. Just gave up. And then a day or two later, I went, you know what? No, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to get this thing to work. And eventually, finally got it to work. So yeah, first things first. What you want to do is you want to download the Runtime. So, as you can see here, I've pulled up a couple of the runtimes. If you just search Oculus Rift, Oculus Rift, blah blah blah, runtime download. So, if you're looking for 0.8, then search 0.8 runtime download. And then, boom! Which one? Yeah, this is the one you want. No. Yeah. Yes, this is the one you want. Developer.oculus.com/download/pc/blah blah 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 blah. Okay. And where is that one? That one's this one. So as you can see, here is the URL, developer.oculus.com/download/pc/0.8.0.0-beta/oculus_runtime_for_windows/. That's the URL if you wanted to just type it in. But yeah, that is the runtime. Agree to the terms and conditions, download it, and you will get a file like this. Oculus_runtime_SDK_0.8.0.0_win.exe. Click on that and it'll run the install. You get the same one whether you get 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, or if you want to get one of the older runtimes like 0.4.0 or 0.4.2 or any of those, because I know there are a lot of the older games out there that were developed on different runtimes, so they require the specific runtime to run them. But if you just wanted to run the latest one prior to the CV1 release, then you can just grab 0.8, which is what I have. That's what I've got. It works with the majority of games, works with a lot of the current games that are out. It even works with Elite Dangerous, which I've heard a lot of people say that Elite Dangerous only works with 1.3. But just the other day, I fired up Elite Dangerous just for shits and gigs. It was fucking awesome. But yeah, worked just fine. So, 0.8 works just fine. And once you've downloaded it, you'll get this file. You start it, and it's going to run you through the whole procedure of installing the runtime. You go on ahead and install it. It's going to ask you to restart the computer. So go on ahead and restart it. And once it restarts, it'll start back up, and it will start. Let me go back over here. It'll start up this configuration here. You'll get this guy right here, the Oculus configuration utility. Now, this is what it looks like for 0.8. 0.5 slightly different. It gives you an option to go direct to the Rift or to run an extended mode. I've found that running an extended mode for 0.5 works the majority of the time, whereas direct to Rift doesn't really work quite as often. But I don't have 0.5 installed. I have 0.8 installed. And that's what I'm talking about. 0.8. So this is what it looks like. So first off, you want to come in here and go on ahead and set up the eye relief. Pick which eye cups you have. That definitely matters because you do have two sets of cups. And they are slightly different. So pick which set of cups you have. Go on ahead and set the eye relief. I've got mine set all the way the fuck out. This stuff doesn't really matter if you want to set this stuff up. And then just click on Show Demo Screen. And it will pull up the Show Demo Screen. You'll be sitting at a desk. There will be a big screen in front of you. Everything around you'll be in this big giant blue void. And if you can look around, works just fine. If it doesn't move with you, then you know there's an issue. If it doesn't start up the show demo screen, you know there's an issue. Now I have found that there are a couple of issues with the Oculus Rift DK2. When I was installing it, I had to go through all the different HDMI ports that I had to find one that worked, along with the USB. I'm pretty sure I've got the USB plugged into a 3.0 port. I think. I don't remember. But I mean, if you're having issues getting it to work, you might want to try moving around the USB plug to some different ports. See if see which ones work. You might, if you have 0.3, try 0.3, 0.2, switch it between the two. Try and figure out some type of configuration that works. Same thing goes for the HDMI. I moved the HDMI around a couple of times because I know I've got one, I think two for the motherboard. I know I've got at least one for the motherboard. And I know I've got two for my graphics card. There we go. Couldn't think of the word. I know I've got two for my graphics card. And I've currently got mine plugged directly into my graphics card. When I had it plugged directly into my computer, would not work. When it was plugged directly into the motherboard, the Oculus Rift would not work. I had to plug it directly into the graphics card to get it to work. And it took a bunch of moving around and reinstalling and moving around and reinstalling. Like I said, it took me about a week's worth of messing with this thing after I got off work and got home. So a couple hours a day. But it was about a week after I got it that I got the first program to run on the Oculus Rift. So this is not the DK2 I should say, is not an easy thing to work with. The CV1 is the consumer version. That thing is user friendly. The DK2 is the developer's kit number 2. That is not made for the normal user to work with. It's a bit of a pain in the ass to work with. So yeah, it might take a bunch of screwing around to get it to work. Now, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, let's say you do have a bunch of the older games that work with different runtimes, or maybe you have one or two of the older games that work with the different runtimes with like 0.8, but you also want to be able to have like 1.3 or 1.7 active as your main runtime, so that you can play some of the newer stuff like War Thunder, Elite Dangerous, No Limits, Back Dinosaur Island, stuff like that. Time Machine VR, that guy as well. If you want to have the latest runtime active, you can actually have all of them at once without having to go through the complicated process of uninstalling and reinstalling. And the way that you do that is with a switcher. Now, what I found, and I actually installed it to use as a switcher, is this guy right here. This is on Reddit. You can look up Oculus Runtime Switcher, and this is version V3, I think. But yeah, so this guy, he's got a neat runtime switcher. Essentially what you do is, let's see if I have this thing. Got it somewhere. Give me 1 second. I downloaded the file. I don't know where it's at. We'll just download it again. Download. Yeah. Open with WinRAR. There we go. Okay. So yeah, this runtime that this guy has will allow you to switch between 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, and the latest runtime that you have installed. And essentially it does that with scripts. And he's got right here a video guide on YouTube that you can go to, and you can watch the guy walk you through installing the program and how to use it. Now, to get the runtimes, you do actually have to go and download the runtimes, some of the older ones, which that's these right here. Here's 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, and 0.8. They're all available for download. They're all on Oculus.com, so you can just go grab those off of Oculus and use whichever one you want, or use them all with the switcher. Personally, I recommend the switcher. It just makes things a little bit easier if you're using some of the older stuff. Now, I have seen that this does not work with the CV1. A lot of people in the comments were talking about how it doesn't work with the CV1. So if you have the CV1, probably not going to work. If you have the DK2, hey, you're golden. It'll work just fine with that. So yeah, what you get after you download it is this. You'll have this WinRAR file right here. And you'll get this Oculus Runtime Switcher V3. You open it up, and you'll have a bunch of stuff in here. These are the different command prompts. And you can actually open it up. Oh, no. I want to edit. Where's the edit? Whatever. But yeah, he had it set up to where you can edit it. You can go into Notepad. Probably open with Notepad and re-edit it. But yeah, here is instructions, troubleshooting. Here's how, to say thanks if you want to. But basically, let's go on ahead and open it up. Here is what it looks like. You're going to have this GUI right here to work with. And you essentially just click on the runtime that you want. And basically, the way that the guy said to do it was to install the latest runtime, which at the time of making was 1.3. At the time of me making this video is 1.7. Not sure specifically if it works with 1.7. Either way, you install the latest runtime. You also need to have Oculus Home available. And essentially what you can do is you can install these earlier runtimes, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6. 0.5 is supposed to be right here. I don't know why it says it requires 0.8. But you install them there, and when you click on it, it will run one of these scripts right here. And it will just push you to the older runtimes that you have installed to a certain file location. And it even says right here in the README, let me bring this back over. Here are all of the instructions on how to do it. Where to install the files, how to get everything to work. It's all right there. And then, where'd the, there it is. Yeah, I keep misclicking on stuff. But yeah, when you want to switch something, essentially you click on the runtime that you want, and it will open up a command prompt, go on ahead and run the command file, switch you to the right runtime, and then when you want to switch back to the latest, you just, boom, click on latest, runtime home, and it will switch you back to the current one. He explains it in his video. He's a little bit better at it since he is the one who actually designed the program. He did all the coding. He wrote all the script. He did all that. Well, I don't think he wrote the scripts. I think a lot of the scripts were already available. But essentially, he's the one that compiled everything, put everything together. So definitely go check out his post. Switchers are absurdly convenient for running the Oculus Rift. In fact, before he came up with that one, let me show you here. I actually had this switcher, which, no, I want, where's the, I got it somewhere. Where did I put it? Maybe I put it down here. Aha! Yes. Found it. Yeah, I had this guy. This was my old switcher. And this basically you could like put games into and sort of manage games with it, but I never really did that. All I did was just switch between the runtime. So if I wanted to switch to 0.5.1, I could do this. Boom. It'll switch to 0.5.1. Or I could switch it back to SDK 07 with a reset, any of that stuff. So this is the old one that I used to use. This is the new one that I have, and I'm probably going to set it up with the latest runtime. But currently what I have installed is 0.8. Because that pretty much works with anything that I run into with the DK2. So yeah, to just go on ahead and nail it home, the DK2 is not very easy to work with. It is difficult to set up. It is, sometimes it'll work just fine, sometimes it won't. One great example, I was trying to record in War Thunder today. And the recording required me to essentially start up Steam VR, do the room setup so that the level and everything was perfect, and then start War Thunder through Steam VR. When I did it just to see if it would worked just fine. Because I started up War Thunder at first because I wanted to do a user-made model. Worked just fine, no problem. And then I did the room setup to get everything calibrated properly, started it up to test it, worked just fine, no problem. And then I turned everything off so that I could restart it and use the joystick in the cockpit mode with the DK2. Started up War Thunder, wouldn't work. So I said, okay, maybe it just didn't work this time. Let's try restarting it. Restarted War Thunder, nothing. Restarted Steam VR, nothing. I did this probably about 4 or 5 times. Couldn't get the thing to work. Don't know why. It's just good old DK2. So yeah, if you're having problems with the DK2, guess what? That's just the DK2, or at least from my experience. There may be other people out there that are like, oh no, I know exactly how to get this thing to work. And you know, they get it to work every time, no problem. And hey, they're experts at it. I'm not. I don't claim to be, and I even said at the beginning of this video, I am not an expert with the DK2. I've just gotten mine to work, and I've gotten it to work with some games, done some recording, stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I got mine to work. Try that. It might work for you. Yours might be different. You might have some different hardware, different setup. I actually have 3 monitors running. Having 1 monitor, 2 monitor, 3 monitors, that all ties in differently with the DK2. If I were to turn my computer off, unplug one of the monitors, and restart my computer, my Oculus Rift will not work. Trust me, been there, done that. So yeah, it's a really finicky device to get to work with. It's a pain in the ass to work with, but once you get it to work, goddamn is it amazing. So if you're having trouble, just power through it and get that thing to work. Trust me, it is worth it. But yeah, I think that about does it for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, or if you found it to be helpful, go on ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later.